Previously on All My Children.
I have something I want you to think about, if you would.
We appreciate everything you're doing for the family, but all you have to do is to hang on until Tad manages to bring Brooke back home.
I told the judge she was in the hospital with pneumonia under lock and key. Now it's your turn. Where is she?
Your little hospital charade, it was a good call. I'm sorry it's for naught.
I know this is going to come as a shock to you, Mike, but, well, of course it's not. Nothing ever shocks him. Mike, I know that this is going to be something of a disappointment to you. Of course it's not going to disappoint him. He's not going to accept it. Well, he's going to have to accept it. I mean, after all, it's my life. And if I've made up my mind, well then, that's
About
it.
what?
How did you get in here? Oh, of course, how silly of me. You walk through walls, don't you? I forgot you're a ghost.
You gave me a key, remember?
Oh, right. Yes, I did. Okay, fine. You're here. I need to say something to you, but I need you to stay over there. In fact, why don't you sit over there right in the center of the sofa?
All the way over there?
Yes. I need to talk to you about something, Mike, and it's something serious.
Well, I'm not really dressed for serious.
Oh, come on, Mike, don't do this. Don't make it any harder than it already is. All right. I saw Jack earlier in the chapel. He kissed me.
Is that it?
Isn't that enough? A terribly injured man crawls into his wheelchair, drags himself down to the
Kiss
chapel.
you? That's good.
Good.
Yeah, good for him. Did you enjoy it?
What?
Well, if you enjoy kissing him more than you enjoy kissing me.
Look, Jack and I are engaged. We've had to make certain adjustments because suddenly you reappeared in my life, but everything is fine now. And Jack has made it really clear to me that he is madly in love with me. He wants to marry me.
No. I think that's wonderful. I really do. I think it's wonderful, Erica.
Look, Mike, I know that this is something of a disappointment to you. And you know what? I'm not without certain feelings about this myself. You really are both wonderful men, and in the best of all possible worlds, however, this is Pine Valley, and so a woman has to choose,
You haven't chosen, Erica. Jack is just back in the game.
Well, you may see my future as a game, but I certainly do
Erica, I
not.
spoke to Jack. I told him not to drop out just because another man wanted you. I told him to stand up for himself, stake his claim, fight it out, mano a mano.
I hope he threw you out of his room.
Oh, he's taking my advice.
This is absolutely prehistoric.
It's pretty basic, but then that's your fault.
My fault?
Yeah, look at you. You're beautiful. You're sensuous. You're brilliant. Any man worth his salt would want you. But then you know it.
Up, I'm going to be forced to ask for a bench warrant for your arrest.
I think we're here for the same reason, Miss Kiefer.
What? To violate my client's rights? I don't think so. You walk through that door and we have a mistrial.
Now, what we have is maybe a case of the flu, or whatever it is
claims she had.
Miss English has pneumonia. Or didn't you read my brief?
I read every word that you write, Miss Kiefer. And it's clear to me that you're very concerned about your client's health.
Yes. The trial will resume as soon as my client is up and about.
Well, in that case, I suggest you take a peek into that room.
I'm not leaving until you tell me what you've done with Brooke and Jamie.
Dixie, can I get you some coffee? Or perhaps you would like a cup of decaf.
No, thank you, Dimitri. All I want is information.
Well, I can only tell you what I've already told my brother and Tad, although I give them high marks for sending such a lovely emissary.
Do you ever listen to the way that you talk? It's like you're lord of the manor and the rest of us peasants should just pray for the day we can get down on our hands and knees and kiss your butt.
It's not my intention to offend you, Dixie.
Yeah, I really don't understand why Edmund and Tad haven't roughed you up a little bit more. You don't look like much to me. You have this lovely empty space between your eyes that's just dying for the heel of a woman's shoe, which, trust me, I would be happy to provide.
What the hell?
Cadwallader?
How did they know your
What's that happen?
Nice. You must be the long-suffering spouse.
Look, I don't know who you are. I think you've made some kind of mistake. I suggest you leave us in peace before someone gets hurt.
Trust me, somebody's already been hurt.
Captain Cadwallader, you recently piloted the Merrick jet from the Merrick Enterprises airstrip. On board were 2 passengers, Brooke English and her son Jamie. Where are they?
All My Children, brought to you by CoverGirl. Easy, breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
We're looking for Brooke English and her son.
You have 1 minute to leave our room. Both of you.
Or what?
Or I'll call the police and have you charged with breaking and entering.
Ask for Keith McLean, Assistant DA. I'm sure he'll be very interested. You see, aiding and abetting flight from prosecution is a felony, and since you clearly knew that Brooke English was on trial for murder when you flew her out of the country...
Put down the phone, you fool.
Child on that plane, the boy traveling with Miss English was my son. I want him back.
I'm sure the captain understands the situation.
Yes, I understand. You're desperate, and you're going to stay desperate. Because I'm not telling you a thing.
Dixie, I understand Tad's position.
Tad doesn't have a position, Dimitri. He has rights, which you have violated.
All right. What about Brooke's rights? Now, she has the right to a fair trial, which isn't going to happen, not now, not here. Now, I will be happy to arrange for Tad to visit his son when the time is right, but I will not allow Brooke to spend the rest of her life in prison when there is a reasonable alternative right now.
You will be happy to arrange for Tad to see his son when you think the time is right? Who the hell do you think you are?
Brooke's friend.
Did it ever occur to you that your friend might have changed her mind?
I seriously doubt that. She has had a number of weeks to come to the decision she has made.
Yes, and what if she regrets it? There is still some time, Dimitri. Tad has set it up so she can come back here without anybody ever knowing that she's been gone. He's given her a second chance.
A what? I mean, nothing has changed. The press still wants blood. The prosecution's case still stands.
And Brooke has had a chance to see what it's like to be on the run with a little boy. She is an intelligent woman. I just say that we let her decide. You call her, tell her what the situation is, that she has got a second chance. And then, if she wants to stay gone, fine, all right? At least Tad will have the opportunity to undo what he's done. Please, Dimitri, if you've done all this for Brooke.
Listen to me, I will not have Brooke pressured.
Excuse me, Mr. Merrick. Do you know where Mr. Gray is? I just can't seem to settle her down, and Peggy won't be back for hours.
Oh, Madeline, are you giving Stella a hard time? Come here. little darling, you come to your Uncle Dimitri and you tell me all about this, all right? Let's get that little doll right there. Yes, darling. Now, what's wrong, sweetie? You miss your daddy? Is that it? Is that what's going on here? Is that what's going on, darling? Such a pretty girl, you know that? Such a pretty little girl. Yeah.
And exactly what is it that you expect me to see?
Help yourself.
All I see is a very sick woman who does not need the assistant district attorney skulking around her room again.
Okay, Miss Kiefer. I'm wrong and you're right. I am the ADA on this case. But I'm also just me. And if there's someone that's in the hospital that's sick and hurting and I know them, I bring flowers. But the nurse said that she couldn't have them, so I left them at the information desk. Now, if that makes me persona non grata, then that's just the way it's going to have to be.
No, I'm sorry. It's just that I'm very, very protective of Brooke. More so than any other client. Everything that she's been through, and now this.
Yes, she has been through a lot. And I'm glad that she has you representing her. And not just because you're fun to fight with.
Well, I hope the jury agrees with you.
Oh, I better get going.
McLean,
Yes.
you mentioned having dinner sometime.
Yes, I'd like that very much.
Well, maybe if the ADA and the counsel for the defense could stay at home some night next week, perhaps Belinda and Keith could get some dinner.
Well, Keith would be very happy to have dinner with Belinda. Say the Valley Inn?
Belinda likes the Valley Inn.
Good.
Don't mind Tim. He's just in one of his moods again. Hi, hon. I'm back, and I brought Adrian just like you asked. The one that's
I would like to have some privacy, Opal, if you don't mind. I have something to discuss with Mr. Sword.
I'll be right outside.
So how are you feeling, sir?
Well, as well as can be expected. However, under the circumstances, I'm going to make some changes in regard to the staff, and I will no longer require your services.
I'm afraid I don't understand, sir.
Well, we no longer need a full-time chauffeur.
Well, with all due respect, sir, you need more help, not less. A full-time valet as well as a driver.
That is no longer your concern, Adrian. I've made up my mind. You'll receive 2 months' severance.
Well, I appreciate your generosity, Mr. Cortland, but I'm afraid I can't accept it.
I beg your pardon.
Well, I was hired by Mrs. Cortland, and if she wishes to fire me, that's another story. But until she...
Mrs. Cortland may think that she has the power to make domestic decisions. However, I wear the pants in this family.
Yeah, well, you better prepare to take him in a notch, mister, because there's no way you're railroading me on this one.
Of all the mean, low-down, deceitful things...
I couldn't agree more. Shame on you.
A blind man. You take advantage of a blind man.
What about you shooing me out of the room so you could go behind my back to fire my chauffeur, who is by no means fired, by the way?
Thank you, Mrs. Cortland.
And you going along with her.
Don't you try to shift the blame onto Adrian.
Oh, an ungrateful wife, a conniving servant. Tragedy, and now farce.
Oh, honestly, why don't you just tell him what you're so upset about? All right, I'll tell him.
That's not necessary.
Belinda saw you in the cellar and Palmer got all paranoid
I'm not
about
paranoid. I am not. Adrian is a chauffeur. He has no business in the cellar.
Well, I send him down there all the time, Palmer. I hate that musty, stinky,
The cellar
dirty
is
old
made
place.
for wine, not for your comfort.
If I may, I'm sorry if I've caused you any concern, Mr. Cortland. That's the last thing you need right now.
Oh, don't bother with Mr. Gruff and Grumble. You work for me, and I will be the first one to fire him if he ever steps out of line.
Thank you for your vote of confidence, Mrs. Cortland. Rest assured, Mr. Cortland, I'm not a thief, nor am I a wino. I just wanted to cheer your wife up with her favorite dessert when she came home from the hospital. So I went down to the wine cellar to get the sherry I needed for the souffle. Hopefully you'll accept my apologies for upsetting you.
All right. But I must make sure that my staff understands the division of labor on the estate. I can't have Cook thinking that you're taking over her kitchen.
I understand, sir. If that'll be all,
I'll meet you in the car in a minute.
good night, sir.
There. Now, that wasn't so difficult, was it?
There's nothing wrong with my pillow.
Well, I wish I could say the same about your mood.
Oh, hang my mood! I'm sorry, Opal. I'm sorry. I'm stuck in this hospital. I can't read. It is not easy.
I think you're doing pretty well, considering
Oh, yeah, considering what?
that you have no patience.
You have less tact.
Yeah, but you like that about me. Or at least you used to.
Still do.
Yeah. There, you see? We're actually having a conversation, aren't we? You know, the marriage counselors say that is the main key to a happy marriage is open and honest communication.
Really. Well, let's hope that your Mr. Sword is open and honest, because if he isn't,
Oh, you'll communicate it to me, I know, in no uncertain terms.
Fact, I love you. Fact, I want you to be happy. In fact, if that means you have to spend the rest of your life with Jackson Montgomery, I'll dance at your wedding.
I don't believe it.
No, well, neither do I. Because I realize that your happiness depends on you being with me. And until you're willing to accept that, it's just a game of ping pong. Mike, Jack. Mike, Jack.
That makes me the little white ball?
No, honey, you are the prize. But I don't want to win by deceit or default. And Jack knows that. That's why he's back in the running.
To make things better for you?
No, because he's human and humans hope. Now, I realize you have a need to compare us in action, which puts Jackson at a slight disadvantage because he's in the hospital, so I'm willing to wait. I want a fair competition.
You really mean this?
I really mean it.
You're telling me the truth?
Never truer.
Of those who survived, and now we get on this experiment.
Yeah, come in. I warn you, though, I have no blood left.
How you feeling?
Ah, you. Just marvelous, as you can probably tell.
Okay, I'll come back tomorrow.
No. You're going to stay right here. What's going on?
You saw the news?
I know what I thought I saw, that Brooke English is too ill for the trial to reconvene.
Yeah, and that's what I want to talk to you about. Seems like we might have a major problem.
How major?
Well, let's criminal fraud, unethical practices, conspiracy to obstruct justice.
Wait, Keith. Now, Trevor may be unorthodox, but he would not get involved in something like that.
No, not Dylan or Belinda. In fact, I'm convinced they know nothing about this.
Well, if this is about your jury again, I think you're looking at a mistrial.
No, it's not the jury either. We're talking about the Martins and Brooke English.
Well, you've lost me.
Well, if I'm right, Joe Martin and both of his sons will be bunking together for a long time at the state's expense.
How much did my brother pay you?
Your brother?
I'm always having to clean up after him.
Other way round in our family.
I don't see you complaining about the money.
I'll double it.
tell the man what he wants to know.
It's not that simple.
What did he do? Threaten you? Blackmail you? Force you out of business?
And he could do it, too. And then where would we be?
Working for me or someone I know?
You don't have a choice, Ian.
Where's Jamie? What did you do with my boy?
If you don't tell him, I will.
All My Children will be back in a moment here on ABC.
I took Brooke English and the little boy to Paris.
If they landed in France, they could be in Switzerland by now.
I doubt it. Paris wasn't their final destination, was it, Ian?
All I know is a man met them at the plane. I'd never seen him before. He didn't tell me his name. And then he took them to another part of the airport.
If you put them on another plane, that plane had to file some kind of flight plan, right?
As far as I know, they took a limo. I didn't see anything. I was told to take off as soon as I'd refueled.
Each operative only knew his part of the plan.
I know how it works, Edmund. I was just hoping against hope.
Well, we may have to accept that Dimitri has the advantage.
I don't have to accept anything. I'm not about to let your brother steal my son.
Whoa. Yes.
She trusts you.
I'm her uncle. Aren't you uncle?
Wasn't that something I read somewhere? You have to forgive me, I'm so out of the loop. Living in Pigeon Hollow, I only get the paper once a week, and that's if Helma remembers to pick it up. You were her, you had custody, right? You were her father for a while there.
Yes. There was a time when everyone believed, the courts included, that I was Madeline's father, and Madeline and I got to know each other, didn't we, darling?
Right, when you kidnapped her.
Mm-hmm.
You found out that Edmund was the father, and you ran away with her all the way to Hungary, wasn't it?
Yes, Dixie, Edmund and I have resolved all of that. Yes.
Well, Edmund is certainly a forgiving man. First you sleep with his wife, and then she gets killed, and then you decide to run away with his child. Boy, I'm just wondering how you're going to explain all that to her when she grows up. I'm just curious, because she's going to find out. She's going to want to know who gave you permission to trash her life like that.
Madeline has always been loved and cared for. That will not be an issue.
That's spoken like a man who doesn't have children. That's what happens, Dimitri. They grow up, they look around at the mess you've made of their life, and it's why? But I suppose her father will explain all that to her. I have such admiration for that man. Everything he's been through. Can you imagine what it's like to have somebody that you love and trust just run away with your child?
Excuse me, Dixie. I thought you were here to talk about Tad.
I am talking about Tad, Dimitri.
You trust me, Belinda?
In what regard?
You went to the Cortlands and told them you saw me in the wine cellar. Why?
I was surprised to find you there.
Why is that?
You were hired as a driver.
You thought it was your duty to report your suspicions. What exactly did you suspect, Counselor?
Look, Opal hired you on my recommendation.
Opal and I don't have a problem. You haven't told me what you suspected.
I suspect that you are not who you say you are.
Which is?
Let's see. ABT dancer turned stripper who likes to take apart cars, which he learned either before, during, or after the time he spent in service.
Oh, lady pays attention.
Yes. And it's surprising to know that someone who earns their living driving cars knows the difference between a 1982 and a 1993 Cabernet.
Well, that says more about you than it does about me, Counselor.
I'm not a snob, Mr. Sword. But I am a pretty good judge of character.
So you think you have my number?
No, No, I definitely do not. Nothing about you adds up. But until it does, I will keep reporting my suspicions to my friends, whether you like it or not.
So, your interest in me is, official?
No, it's personal. I don't like it when people take advantage of my kindness.
Fine, then. Poke away. I hope it makes you happy.
So Brooke is in the room.
And you saw her there with your own two eyes?
Yeah. And she's laughing with some kid. Now, she's supposed to be at death's door.
Keith, don't you think it's possible in this age of miracles that maybe they shot her full of some kind of antibiotic and she actually does feel better?
Oh, please, I think this whole thing is a fake. She saw how the trial was going and she panicked. Now, with the help of her ex-husband and his family, she decided to hide out in the hospital room to avoid prosecution.
Scott, if I screw this thing up...
Kelsey, don't panic.
My grandfather's gonna lose his license. My uncles are gonna go to jail. My whole family's gonna go to jail.
Kelsey, you did the best you could. Given your addiction to chocolate.
Stop, I'm serious.
No, I know you are. But there's nothing we can do about it right now. And it's gonna be all right. Listen, as soon as they leave, I'm gonna leave, and then you can go back to being the perfect patient. It's gonna be fine.
And if it isn't?
I'll visit you in jail.
Promise?
I promise. It's all right.
The kid in there with her had on no mask, no gloves, and no gown.
Keith, I just find it so hard to believe that Joe Martin would risk his reputation and the reputation of this hospital, a hospital that he has dedicated his entire life to over something like this.
Jack, I respect your opinion of these people and your affection for them too, but that does not change what I saw and what I feel in my gut. Now, something ain't right here.
Keith, it's such a long shot that he would be...
All I'm asking for is a hearing.
What you're asking for is to be able to question Brooke English.
That's the only way we'll find out the truth.
I want you to keep an eye on him, Opal.
On Adrian? Oh, come on, Palmer.
I mean it. I don't want the man wandering around unauthorized.
He was getting a bottle of sherry from the basement. He wasn't stealing the crown jewels.
You don't know what he really was up to. You don't even know who he really is.
Well, Belinda recommended him.
Well, Belinda has had second thoughts about her recommendation. Oh, the man has charms, no denying that. But charm can be a great concealer. It is deceptive. It is manipulative. What are you doing?
What do you feel?
I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
Well, there's lots of ways to communicate.
Listen,
Now,
Opal. Now, I'll play any childish game you want, but I want you to promise me that you will watch out for Adrian Sword. I don't trust that man.
I promise I will watch and keep an eye on Adrian's sword.
Good. Okay. All right. Now what? What is it?
What are you feeling?
Well, it's your face.
Yeah, and what is it saying? Come on, what expression?
How can I tell what expression
Pretend
when I
I'm
got...
a work of art, a sculpture or something, and you're the artist, okay? Just don't be shy. Just feel and see what you tell me. I won't bite, I promise. At least not yet.
You're smiling.
Good. And why am I smiling?
I don't know. Because you enjoy making a fool out of your husband.
No. Because I love my husband.
Anne? Do you have children?
That's none of your business.
3.
You know what I'm going through.
I have an idea.
Is there anything you can tell me? Anything at all? Anything he might have left out?
I wish there were. It's like your friend said, he doesn't know anything.
Thank you.
We appreciate your cooperation.
Anytime.
Tad, I've got some people in Paris.
Doesn't matter, we don't have time. McLean is already chomping at the bit. If we don't get her back in 48 hours, he's gonna know it's a hoax. When that happens, most of my family's gonna go to prison. Brooke is still gonna be fugitive. I'm never gonna see my son.
Tad, I know what's at stake.
Good. And you'll understand when I lock your brother in the family crypt and leave him there till he tells me what I need to know.
I wish that would work, but he is stubborn. He has to win.
Well, I guess that makes two of us.
Dixie, what does Maddie have to do with Tad?
Don't be dense, Dimitri. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm afraid I don't. And as enjoyable as this little meeting was, I'm afraid it's time.
You know, you just don't want to get it, do you? Although, why that should surprise me, I don't know. Adam is as thick as a post when he wants to be. Which is the point, isn't it? You just don't want to see what you've done.
Good day, Dixie.
Why don't you tell him, sweetheart? Why don't you tell him what it's like to be taken away from everything that you know and trust? It's terrible to be a child when the grown-ups are going crazy, isn't it? One minute you're all safe and warm.
Madeline has always been safe.
Well, what was it like then for you, Dimitri, when you found out that they were going to come and get her? Did you wake up in the middle of the night? Did you run down to her room, open it up only to see that the crib was empty, that she was gone? And then you realize? That's it. It's a terrible feeling, isn't it? It's like something crawled into your stomach and died. How do you think Dad feels?
Jamie is with his mother.
As much as I respect and admire Brooke English, she has made a mistake in taking that child away from the rest of her family, and I bet you anything she knows it. Look at you. You're living in your brother's house just to be close to this little girl. Oh, who can blame me? She's so precious. And there's so little time. Let's just say that you didn't realize what you were doing. You thought you were trying to help Brooke, but you can change it all. You can bring that little boy back to his home. Aren't you forgetting something?
And that would be?
Me? The little white ping pong ball? I mean, what makes you so sure that I want to be part of this competition?
How many times have you been married?
I don't think that's any of your business.
Well, it's a matter of public record. Till death do us part. Now, that is the essential meaning of marriage, and I'm a kind of conservative guy.
You?
Yeah, I have spent a good part of my life